at hindi na po namin kayo papahintayin ng matagal. Tayo po ngayon ay tutungo na po sa ating webinar on effective communication. The first part of our session is the overview of effective communication to be delivered by Ms. Ayet Ferriol, Supervising Education Program Specialist from the Bureau of Curriculum Development. Pakilagay po ang inyong mga tanong sa Q&A tab. Please ilagay po ang inyong name, school at region. We will entertain the questions later po during our Q&A. Ms. Ayet, magandang hapon.
Good afternoon, Sir Alvin. Nakikita po ba ang aking screen?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. At malinaw naman po ang aking audio.
Yes po, ma'am. Loud and clear po.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone, to our dear teachers in their respective pilot implementing schools. I am excited to share with you one of the most transformative additions to the strengthened senior high school curriculum. And this is our new core subject titled Effective Communication. So maaari po tinatanong ninyo, how does effective communication play a role in our language framework? Right now, we are in the process of implementing the Matatag curriculum, and that's from grades 1 to 10. And we've already introduced to you the language framework for this subject, and you will find that the effective communication subject is something that is still under the framework. It's still something that observes the same language framework. So just to refresh your memory a little bit, or if you're a new teacher in senior high school, allow me to share with you what this language framework is all about. So right now on my screen, you will see that the language framework is very simple in that it tells us that the mother tongue, despite different efforts or initiatives to get rid of it, it has a very important role in the teaching and learning of both Filipino and English. So we also acknowledge the existence of learners whose mother tongue is English. So regardless of your mother tongue, that has a role in the process of teaching and learning another language. And in this case, we are formally introducing, especially in senior high school where there is more focus on structures, formal usage of the language, the first language will always have space in our program, in our Matatag curriculum, and also in this new core subject called effective communication. So as you can see in this framework, it all starts with the mother tongue, or the L1, the first language. The first language serves as the base and language and literacy resource. Lahat po ng kaalaman ng bata, everything that he or she would like to express, everything that he or she thinks of is in the first language. And using that first language, using the knowledge that we have of our mother tongue, we transfer this knowledge into the teaching and learning process for Filipino and English. And even until Key Stage 4, that's senior high school, mother tongue still plays a role and is still provided space so that we can better allow our students to understand the concepts that we are introducing even in grades 11 and 12. Okay, now let's go back to the language curriculum framework. You will find that this language curriculum framework is also going to be very true in the process of teaching and learning effective communication. At the heart of the language curriculum framework, we have the goals of our language program. So these goals do not end or are not attained by grade 10 only. These are reinforced by our core subject, effective communication. So right in the middle of our language curriculum framework, you see here 3 goals, and they are very simple. We would like our Filipino learners to be literate. We want them to have communicative competence, and we want them to have a great sense of cultural identity. And in order for us to do that, we are going to be guided by what we call the 3 big ideas. And as you may already know, each big idea is the focus of a key stage. In Key Stage 1, we focus on literacy, where we want our learners to learn how to read. By Key Stage 2, or grades 4 to 6, our focus shifts to language. Once they already know how to read, they now read to learn more about the target language. So here is where communicative competence is put more emphasis, or there is more emphasis on communicative competence. And by the 3rd key stage, which is one of the most challenging key stages, we now focus on text. So right here, We want our students to not just be effective consumers of text, but also effective producers of different kinds of text, different multimodal and multimedia text. Now, take note that in every key stage, although there is a specific focus, okay, there is a specific big idea that is focused on, all of the other big ideas also play a role in reinforcing that focus. Halimbawa po, sa key stage 1, even though the focus is on literacy, language and text are still present. These serve as vehicles towards literacy formation and development. And in every key stage, whatever the big idea is in focus, the other big ideas also play a supplementary role in making sure that the skills that are relevant to the big idea are effectively developed. In the outer circle of our language curriculum framework, you will find the other dimensions of our curriculum, and these are pedagogy, learning resources, and assessment, all of which are equally important. Along with changing the curriculum guide, there also has to be changes in the way that we practice pedagogy, in the way that we develop our learning resources, and in the way that we carry out assessment. All of these will have to be guided by cultural factors, through contextualization, and of course, sound theories on language acquisition and learning. Okay. You will find that when the curriculum guides are released, especially for effective communication, there is no longer going to be a different shaping paper for senior high school because it is understood that this grade 11 curriculum is going to be subsumed under the shaping paper for English. It is still under the language arts curriculum. Okay, now let's move on to the course description. What exactly is effective communication? So we know that this is a new core subject, and we also know that there is an alternative o kapatid po ng effective communication in the form of mabisang komunikasyon. But this time, we're just going to focus on effective communication. So this course is not just another English or Filipino class. It is a bilingual core subject that is offered to all grade 11 learners. And it has a mission to build not just language fluency, but true communicative competence in both target languages, and that's English and Filipino. So this means that our learners are going to be equipped with the ability to listen, to speak, read, write, and interact effectively, ethically, and confidently across 4 key contexts. And these are personal, social, academic, and professional. Ngayon pa lang po, marami na po siguro umiikot na nagtatanong, paano po ba ang delivery nitong dalawang subject na to? Katulad po ng sinabi ko, effective communication, ang kapatid po nito ay mabisang komunikasyon. Now, contrary to previous declarations, okay, unlike the past attempts that merge these 2 languages or these 2 subjects into one hybrid subject, effective communication takes a dual strand approach. Okay, we follow a dual language framework. Ano pong ibig sabihin nito? Each language is going to be taught separately by dedicated teachers, each with 80 hours allotted. Okay, and that 80 hours is going to be spread throughout the school year. So this ensures depth of instruction. It also ensures depth of assessment, and it allows our learners to develop transferable skills in both languages, in both Filipino and English, without compromising their unique features. At the same time, the design is integrative. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? We want the goals of both language strands or components to align so that we foster a shared skill set. And these are cultural sensitivity, strategic language use, digital fluency, and ethical communication, all of which are under the curriculum goals of our language program. Now, the effective communication course, along with Mabisang Komunikasyon, also brings in one of the most exciting shifts in our approach to language, and this is translanguaging. So translanguaging doesn't just end in Key Stage 1. It doesn't just end in grade 10. Translanguaging continues to be apparent and continues to exist even in senior high school. Learners are empowered to draw from both English and Filipino to express themselves clearly and purposefully, especially in real-world and assessment scenarios where navigating across languages is a life skill. Okay. Now, you're going to find that effective communication is organized around 4 progressive domains, and these are apparent in every quarter. Okay, so we start off with communication in familiar personal settings That's in quarter 1, and gradually expanding toward public and professional context. So you will find that continuum from quarter 1, where we go from personal and interpersonal, to quarter 2, social and cultural, quarter 3, academic and training, and quarter 4, professional and work. This structure helps students build confidence in stages. Okay, so some examples would be from texting responsibly to drafting an email for a job application, or even participating in a school debate. Now, you will find that these domains are not necessarily true in mabisang komunikasyon, because these domains are going to be specific to the target language. Okay. So by the end of the course, this is what we want our learners to achieve. We want them to be able to adapt their communication strategies to different contexts and audiences, engage confidently in extended spoken and written exchanges, and use digital tools and platforms responsibly and effectively. And lastly, reflect on their own growth as communicators. You will find that these curriculum goals are also explicitly stated in every learning competency, where we go from receptive skills to productive skills with the addition of what we call reflective skills, so that our learners will engage in different metacognitive strategies that will allow them to reflect on their own growth as communicators. Great. So that is it. That's the overview of the effective communication course. With the help of our resource person, Brother Ricky Aguirre, we are going to learn more about this subject, specifically on how to deliver it in our respective classrooms. So good luck, teachers, and I hope that you learned a lot this afternoon.
Thank you, Ms. Ayet, for that comprehensive overview of effective communication. Hindi po tayo iiwan ni Ms. Ayet. Makakasama po natin siya mamaya hanggang Q&A session. Now, let's proceed now to our session dahil nai-transition na ni Ms. Ayet sa ating next resource person. Okay po. For our session po for today for effective communication, our resource speaker is Brother Roderick Motril Aguirre. He is a dedicated education professional with extensive experience in teaching, reading and literacy program development, curriculum development, and consultancy. He served as a college professor at Philippine Normal University from 2004 to 2009, focusing on module development, research, and extension programs. He later became an education consultant for ACLAT at Dunong Publishing, contextualizing instructional materials from Singapore for the Philippines setting. In 2010, he joined the K-12 Secretariat, contributing to the Department of Education's K-12 program development as a junior curriculum consultant and writer for language arts and universal kindergarten. In 2014, worked with USAID through RTI PhilEd data to contextualize early grade reading and mathematics assessments in Waray-Waray, and later assisted DepEd in developing national entry and exit assessments for the campus journalism program. Concurrently, he served as a curriculum consultant for the Sisters of Mary Schools Philippines, where he is also part of the community as a professed brother under the congregation's Confraternity of the Virgin of the Poor. From 2022 to 2024, he once again collaborated with DepEd in revising the K-10 language arts curricula, contributing to the development of the National Reading Program and the initial designs for the revised Arabic language and Islamic values education, or ALIVE curriculum, based on the general shaping paper of the Matatag curriculum. He also spearheaded instructional materials development in DepEd Region 1. Teachers, let us welcome our resource speaker for effective communication, Brother Roderick Aguirre.
I'll try to make it, noise suppressed ako. Okay, so there you go. Thank you very much. And I'm in a public space at the moment, and I'll try my best to explain further how you can implement the effective communication as a pilot schools in piloting the effective communication as one of the core subjects. Let me share with you the PowerPoint presentation, and so we can proceed with the afternoon session. All right. So thank you very much, Ms. Ayet, for the presentation of the overview of the effective communication, and somehow you have seen and heard about the role of the effective communication as the culminating subject under the language arts curriculum from Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 4. Now let me walk you through the curriculum guide and how you can implement that in your own respective schools. Now, be reminded that your schools are implementing a specific type of senior high school design. It could be pure academic track or pure tech pro track or a doorway or combination of these doorway paths or doorway pathways or pure academic track or pure tech pro track, or again, I said a combination. Therefore, as you implement the core subject, it must conform to the contextualization design of your school, and therefore how you contextualize the effective communication in your school may be different from the other school whose senior high school design and offering is different from yours. So but what we're going to show you today, to this afternoon, is to show you how you could contextualize the effective communication in your own respective schools, more of a general perspective, but I'll show you how you could, step by step apply this process in your own respective schools. Now, this is when you open the CG of the effective communication, you will find that it has the, of course, the page, the title page of the CG. Then you have the time allotment, and let's focus on one element of the curriculum guide to the next. It says that the curriculum guide is good for, or the curriculum effective communication is good for 2 hours per week, 80 hours for 1 year. I know that it's 4 hours in a week, but we share effective communication with Filipino, also called Mabisang Komunikasyon. And although we have the same goals for this curriculum, again, Ayat already explained that the focus of and the communicative events of Filipino will be more specific to the use of Filipino in different contexts. And now we understand that English is a global language. Nonetheless, we need to approach the teaching of effective communication, the use of the English language, from personal going outward. And therefore, now for piloting schools or the private schools, you can have initially, it should be implemented 2 hours per week, sharing it with every week with the Filipino effective communication counterpart. Now, as we go down, Ayat already explained to you what the curricular goals of effective communication, and it's stated in effective communication course description. Now, please do not gloss over the course description, because the course description is what we want our students to achieve at the end or along the way as they go through effective communication for 1 whole year. And your course description basically states to us or provides you with what the student should be able to acquire and should be able to know, should be able to do within or by the end of the school year. Hence, the course description is your basis for the culminating task. Now, when you create a curriculum for your schools, you must bear in mind 3 levels of performances or tasks. We call that the culminating task. That's what you want your students to be able to do by the end of the school year. And then you have the quarter performance task. That means this is what you want your students to be able to do at the end of every quarter. And then you have mini performance tasks. These are tasks that are lesson-based, that you want students to be able to apply and perform after every lesson or learning episode. Now, the idea there of the course description is that your culminating task is the holistic perspective of what the course is all about. Then you break them down into 4 quarters with certain focus on context. And Ayat already mentioned a while ago that the first quarter is personal and interpersonal context, meaning effective communication in terms of its elements, in terms of its skills and competencies are the same. Only that how we apply these nuances of competencies differ from different contexts. We can be effective in, say, in social settings, but we may be not effective when it comes to professional settings. And that's why we have to bear in mind that the culminating task should put together effective communication skills in all of this context. And now, as our students go through the journey of becoming effective communicators, they go through stages of context from one quarter to the other. Therefore, the course description of effective communication should be seen as a journey. It's creating a journey for our grade 11 students to become effective from starting with themselves, that's personal, going outward to their families and to their uh, uh, significant others, that's interpersonal context, moving to being a member of a social group, going to social and representing a culture, that's cultural context, and then performing in colleges and universities as higher educations, that's academic, presenting business outputs or academic outputs, that's training, and then as they proceed to graduating in high school and college, they proceed to workplace, that's professional and workplace context. And that's the journey we're going to recreate from our students. In that sense, the course description tells us that what students should be able to do by quarter one is builds on performances in quarter two, quarter three, and quarter four. And therefore, you should analyze first the course description, because at the end of the day, what the central office will be doing is to evaluate and look at how effective the piloting effective communication in sense of fulfilling the course description. Now, as we proceed, you go down to the curriculum guide of effective communication, you will find what the course wants to achieve among our students. And these are what Ayet already mentioned a while ago, and that's adopt communication strategies effectively, that you may be effective in one context, but you may be not effective communicator in the next context. So we want our students to be effective in all different contexts. And that's why the basic and most foundational skills of being effective communicator is adaptability. It's not the people adjusting to us. It's the one sending the message who should adjust to the people they are communicating with, the audience. And this is what we want our students to be mindful of, and then engage in extended communicative events with confidence and purpose, utilize digital tools, because as we move on to the next phase of the society, we move on to, highly technology-based society. And finally, the added element of this language arts curriculum is reflection, that after engaging in situations like communicative situations in the workplace, we want our students to reflect how well they have performed in their communications. Were they successful in delivering the message? If they were successful, which elements of communication led to its effectiveness? Or if it wasn't that effective, which of those elements of communication were not adhered to, hence not allowing the students to become adaptive to situations? So that is what we want for our students to acquire by the whole course of effective communication. Let's zoom in on how do we analyze? How do we analyze now the realization of the course description as a source for the culminating task for effective communication? This will be realized through the standards. So please be mindful that what we want our students to achieve are the standards. That's why the Philippine educational system moved from lesson objective type or topical curriculum to objective curriculum to standards-based curriculum. K to 12, based on Republic Act 10553, is a standards-based, seamless, spiraling type of curriculum. And therefore, what's important would be the standards. Now, your learning competencies enable our students to achieve the standards, not the other way around. And so don't have this misnomer that you directly go to the teaching of the LCs and not minding what the else is for. The LCs are there. They have been listed, been validated by experts, local, national, international, to ensure that this learning competence truly realize the standards. Now, how do we contextualize, or how do we unpack the content standards? Because the content standards will be the basis of your context in teaching all the LCs within the quarter. Now, the content standards have 5 elements. So again, the standards as defined by experts, and it's manifested also in the shaping paper. It is what students should know and be able to do in particular subject. Now, when we unpack the content standards to ensure that what we teach to our students and how we deal with the learning competencies conform to the realization of the standards would be, of course, one, are we discussing the content that is relevant to the realization of the content standards. A good example would be if we want our students to be effective communicators in personal interpersonal context. I think cultural elements and personal elements like knowing what we want, what we can do, our strengths is more important uh, than knowing speech acts. So at the end of the day, if we have taught our students the speech acts, and yet they're not able to use the speech acts to become effective communicators in interpersonal context, then that's nothing. My point, it's not, I'm not saying that teaching students speech acts is not important. I'm just saying it's not the primary content. All right. Next would be expectations. From the content standards, we need to identify what we want our students to be able to do with what they know. So state expectations from learners. What's the level of learning? Are we talking about just remembering the concepts? Are we talking about being able to apply these concepts in various contexts? Now, what's good about the effective communication is that the content standards and the performance standards are stated almost the same from one quarter to another. What changes would be the context. I yet again stated that the quarter one focuses on personal and interpersonal because we want to teach our students that effective communication is a journey, that you start with communicating yourself. Like, how could you be effective with other people when you cannot even be true to yourself? And that's what we want for our students in the senior high school, for them to be more metacognitive, more reflective of what they can do and what they cannot do. And that's what the expectancy is all about in the content standards. Again, I'm doing an oral communication marathon here. Now, third element of the content standards would be skills. Now, it states in the content standards what are the processes and the competencies that our students should be able to acquire in effective communication. A good example would be, how do we know that students are effective communicators in personal and interpersonal communication? Again, would like to repeat my statement that when we talk about implementing the effective communication, we're talking about the most important element is that it should be standards that we achieve every quarter, is that we achieve the standards, and therefore the LCs must be treated as enabling element of the curriculum to achieve the standards. Okay, so again, let me launch my PowerPoint presentation, and we're supposed to be here. Okay, there we go. Apologies, the connection got cut. All right, there we go. And okay. Right. Now, so when we unpack, okay, I know that what you've been doing in the past is that you unpack first the learning competencies, but we would like to be more specific that the revised K to 10 and the strengthened senior high school curriculum is a standards-based curriculum, and that's what's stated in the design of the K to 12 program in the Philippines. And that therefore, when we try to understand how the learning competences should be delivered to our students, how we plan out the lessons to realize the learning competences, it must be towards the realization of the standards. And therefore, the first thing that we should do is look at the standards, and all strategies and approaches that we think of should be conforming to the standards of the quarter. Okay, what's happening in the field is that we think of strategies that would realize the learning competencies, but then again, it does not contribute to the realization of the standards. We're not saying that these strategies and these approaches are not well and received or not effective. It's just that they're not relevant. Okay, relevant to the realization of the standards. I will explain to you. I'll show you an example later on. Now, to summarize, so in your schools, in your respective schools, you need to convene together and talk about unpacking the content standards in these elements. So I did this for you for quarter one. So this is the elements of the quarter one. The content of quarter one is effective communication. That means we need to teach our students within the quarter what effective communication is in personal, interpersonal communication, what is spoken, written, and multimodal forms in personal and interpersonal context, trust building, emotional reciprocity, and contextual understanding. So this would be the specified content that we need to teach our students. All other content are secondary. Meaning, let me trans language, unahin muna natin kung ano yung mga nakalagay sa standards na content na dapat matutunan ng bata bago yung gusto natin na sa tingin natin makakatulong pa sa bata. So let us be clear on what's primary and what's secondary. Now, next to that, in the Q1, you have learned to demonstrate the ability to communicate effectively and understand the dynamics of interaction. That's interpersonal and impersonal. Emphasis in both performance and cognitive understanding of communication. And then what are the skills? Speaking and writing in multimodal forms. And that means what we want our students to engage in personal, interpersonal context communication is not just unimodal, not just bimodal, but multimodal. And then interpersonal skills such as listening, empathy, collaboration, adaptability. And now the construct. Now, when we talk about construct, we refer back to Bloom's taxonomy. The taxonomy guides us. Bloom's taxonomy guides us as to what is the construct. Construct. Pag sinabi po natin construct, yan po yung level ng pagkakaturo ng mga learning competencies, ng mga topics, ng mga skills in that quarter. Now, for Q1, ang dapat daw na level ng pagkakaturo natin ng effective communication and all its learning competencies would be application, analysis and understanding, and finally metacognition, because there's reflection, recognizing and adjusting to context, and there's reflection element there. All right? And the context, ibig sabihin personal, interpersonal lang. Ibig sabihin, sir, pwede po ako maglagay dito ng job interview, dito kasi ay pwede po kaming sa interpersonal communication. Wait. Interpersonal communication is not the same as interpersonal context. Pag sinabi natin interpersonal context, ang communication natin ay with family members and loved ones or extended family members. Okay? Or quote unquote by research or by academic readings, ang tawag po natin doon ay significant others. Magkaiba po ang communication, interpersonal communication or type of interpersonal communication as a type of communication from context of communication. Nakuha po natin. So, kunwari ang ginawa ng teacher dito sa Q1 ay nagpa-job interview siya. Well, hindi siya tama. Bakit po? Interpersonal saka personal. Pwede pa yan sa Q4. Nakuha po natin. So dapat ang mga situations, simulations, strategies that we will have to think of would be conforming to the context. Specified po ang context ng effective communication. So all others that is outside the context should not be considered because there will be other context that should talk about. Now, let's say, example lang po natin, ang ginamit nyo po ay Facebook posting or social media posting of, say, your personal thoughts. But then again, what you did is that you would like to talk about, say, the Philippine culture. You would like to talk about, you post something on your social media about what makes Filipino. Now, for this quarter, that's a good activity, but not context on point. Meaning, we're talking about culture. And therefore, that's for second quarter. Second quarter talks about effective communication in social and cultural contexts. So, yung activity na yun na gusto mong maisip na napopost sila ng cultural about representing a certain culture, let's say Bisaya or Tagalog, that is appropriate for second quarter. So, hindi lang siya on point to the context of the quarter. Now, kung makikita nyo, recurring and recursive ang content standards and the LCs from Q1 to Q4 of effective communication. Paulit-ulit lang siya. Kaya lang the learning competencies and the standards change. The way we become effective, as we explained a while ago, being effective means being able to adjust and be adaptive to the changes of the communicative event or communicative situation. Meaning you may be effective in personal, interpersonal, but as you move on to the next context, you may fail because you are still using the same elements and forgetting that context. Right. Now, to proceed. Now, the performance then have elements as well. If the content standards is the basis for us to the parameters for what to teach, the level of teaching and the context of teaching and the skills what we want to teach in the quarter, the performance standards have also 5 elements. That's criteria, meaning what is the criteria of the criteria we will be using or we will use to evaluate learning. And then the level of mastery, and then the task conditions, and the observable behavior, and the evidence of learning. All right. So if we use this 5 elements of performance standards, we will have a summary of quarter 1 that the criteria is active performance, meaning all other strategies that is not active performance. A good example would be what we do is active performance. You just only ask students to uh, view a film, but you did not ask them view and then analyze, and yet there's no presentation of their outputs. So it becomes more of receptive activity, more of a passive activity or passive performance, and there's no active performance. I yet explained a while ago that the design of the effective communication is bridging from receptive to productive. And effective communication banks on that our students went through already key stage 1, key stage 2, and key stage 3, and now they are ready for more active performance of how they use the language in situations where they become effective. All right, so the criteria is clear in the standards, say active performance. So therefore, all other approaches and strategies are not relevant if they are not within this criteria. So binigay na po ng central office ang basihan ng pagpili ng strategies. It is not you think of the strategies and then ipipilit mong ipasok sa lesson. Ang ginawa po ang bagong design po ng revised K-10 at saka strengthened senior high school is that you already have the standards. The standard sets the perimeters as so basis for selecting appropriate relevant strategies. So I don't want to talk about strategies because the strategy will totally change depending on how you use effective communication in the design of your senior high school implementation plan in your schools. All right? Kasi kung Tech Pro yan, ibang active performance and dapat towards Tech Pro performance in Tech Pro demands. All right. Level of mastery demonstrate flexibility, capable of producing short and extended text responses, task conditions, communication realistic, and an observable behavior, and so on and so forth. Now you will ask me, sir, who you already created for us, for you, I already created for you the unpacking of the content standards and the performance standards. I did not unpack for you quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. So I set a model for quarter 1. So this orientation is providing you that when you go back after this orientation, this training for 2 days, when you go back and then start planning for the implementation or piloting of the senior high school, especially in effective communication, establish first your parameters by unpacking the content standards as basis for selecting the strategies and approaches. Now, your performance standards as the basis how you're going to monitor the learning and performance of the students as they apply the skills they have learned in effective communication in situations that you provide parameters on, and that's the context. All right, and then at the end of it would be evidence of learning. I know this is a marathon. Now there is what we call one element in the CG called termed and labeled as suggested communication. It's suggested communicative or communicative events. Now there were cases that some schools asked us if they need to all of this be part in the lesson or in the teaching. No, that's why schools suggested, just in case you are not mindful of the parameters set by the standards of the quarter. All right, so these are some that you can choose from, or again, you could modify for as long as within the context, modify depending on the senior high school program that you're implementing. If it's pure academic track, therefore you could go for more self-diverse setting like informal, online, offline. But if you're talking about, say, Tech Pro, right? For Tech Pro, I think pinagbabawal yata ng mga industries na you share what you do, you share pictures, so you share what you do in the industries because industries have trade secrets, and that being said, you are not supposed to put that in public. Now, if you want to talk about that, you can have reflections about your ideas and emotions, how work in general should be. So yun po yung ating suggested communicative. So ang tawag po natin dito is the event suggested because they serve as examples or models that teachers can use, adopt, or modify based on the learner's needs, lesson objectives, or the specific context of the classroom based on the senior high school design that you're implementing in your school. So wag kayong halimbawa, yung katabi niyong school ay pure academic track, but you are implementing your school pure tech pro track. Aba, mag-iiba po kayo ng modification ng mga suggested communicative events. Clear? All right. So think realistic. Now, to summarize what I've just said before we proceed to, giving an example how it's concretized in lesson form, that again, as I mentioned, effective communication is a journey, should be seen as a journey that you teach your students all the four stages of becoming effective communicator. That is from personal to interpersonal, and then moving to an outer circle called social and cultural contexts. Pag sinabi natin social, you belong to a social group. Pag sinabi natin cultural, you represent a certain identity or culture. All right. And then when we talk about academic and training context, we're talking about the relationship between teachers and a particular discipline in the school, like a subject, and then how you present it, training, you talk about that. And then finally, the culminating part would be professional and workplace. All right. So that's how we. Now, I will provide you with, I think, Naya, through my power presentation, you'll get a copy of a summary of the context. This will be your basis for the changes of strategies, right? Medium, internal dialogue, and journal. So these are good strategies that you can come up with, because your medium and channel for communicating would be your basis for the selection of what activities you can come up with for realizing and achieving the learning competencies to eventually realize the quarter standards, that's content and performance. Now, you can also talk about the context, the noise, and the feedback. All right, so this is summary for you to look into, so that this will be your blueprint in implementing or piloting the senior high school curriculum, specifically the effective communication, as to what is appropriate in terms of strategies that you choose and approaches that you choose. So enough with, approaches, like looking for approaches and strategies and then, adapting the strategies to the lesson. No. It should be the goals first of the curriculum, and then look for strategies that is appropriate to the realization of these goals. Correct? Ganon. All right, so let's now understand the CG of the curriculum guide. Now, if you will see, the learning competencies, as I mentioned, are enabling sets of knowledge and skills and ethical standards, so that the content standards and performance standards are realized. Ulitin ko po ha, ang goal po natin talaga ay ma-reach ng bata, ma-acquire ng bata ang standards. Kaya nga standards-based ang curriculum. Now, the learning competencies can be unpacked into 5 elements: the content, what to teach, what to teach, and what students should know. The context, what is the context of this knowledge? The skill, what are the set skills they need to know for them to be able to be effective communicators? What's the construct? What is the level of proficiency? What is the level of learning of these skills and knowledge? And then you have the evidence of learning, finally the evidence of learning. Now, what are the things that we need to see concretely that students can do after, knowing all of this knowledge and skills and level of learning in the quarter? All right, say I took one learning competency from quarter 1, and the context is personal and interpersonal, and it states, determine how language and tone are used purposefully in discussing a variety of personal and interpersonal topics. And therefore, in the content, we should talk about what is language and tone as tools of communication, how these elements affect meaning interpretation in personal and interpersonal discussions. So that means this would be your most important topic to discuss with your students. All others are called secondary, like probably needs. It's not necessarily need to know as opposed to want to know, right? So this is no need to know, and then all others would be want to know. Now, the context is personal, interpersonal, like self-expression, relationships and emotions, daily interactions, opinions and experiences, skills, analytical skills, interpretive skills, construct, analysis and application, and critical thinking, which matches the construct stated by the performance standards. And what is the evidence of learning? Meaning these are the activities you can come up with within this, the realization of this learning competency. That's written or oral analysis, participation in discussions, and reflection of journaling, explaining. And therefore, by unpacking using the CCSCE design, this is the model, CCSCE model of unpacking the learning competencies, we are now able to project how are we going to deliver the learning competency and what strategies. When I say strategies, these are learning activities that is appropriate, relevant to the realization of the learning competency. So unahin nyo muna to. Halimbawa, written oral analysis. Ano tingin magandang strategy para ma-realize ko yung written oral analysis as evidence of learning? Participation in discussion. Pwede ako mag-art of questioning, di ba? Or reflection of journal. I could do this like a controlled or open-ended reflection journal question. Ganyan. So you analyze first the evidence of learning, you unpack first the learning competencies, and then once you have unpacked it, and of course it must be validated by someone who's an expert in your school, probably your academic coordinator or subject area coordinator, and validates your unpacking of the learning competency, and then that's when you create your lesson and think of strategies to realize the unpacked, elements of the learning competency. Now, to understand the implementation of the learning competencies, it must be seen again as a journey. I know it is a journey from quarter 1 to quarter 4, but within the quarter, it's also a journey that the learning competencies is designed in such a way that our students go through becoming effective communicator in that identified contexts. That first, before become effective communicator, before you engage in any activity, you interpret first. Right? You look at the situation.
What we want to do with effective communication is a journey. So every quarter, paulit-ulit lang po itong, again, translanguaging po ako, paulit-ulit po yung phase. Starting with interpreting. So for our students to learn, ang tawag natin dito sa naka-bold po ay LC heads. The LC heads provide you with the phase, a stage in becoming effective communication. So, unang stage muna for you to become effective communicator is try to understand what is being talked about. Ano ba ang pinag-uusapan sa sitwasyon na yon, right? And for students to be able to interpret meaning, the learning competencies are determining how language and tone, extract main points, analyze the content and intent. Yan. Kaya paulit-ulit po yan. From quarter 1 to quarter 4, paulit-ulit po ang mga learning competencies. Same po ang LC head, same po ang process from interpreting, going to engaging effectively, to expressing ideas, to reflecting on the process. Ang dagdag po sa ating sa effective communication is reflecting on the process. Nagkaroon ba ako ng, was I not too effective because I did not interpret it well? Or my engagement was wrong, like my nonverbal is okay but my verbal is not, or my verbal elements are not conforming to my nonverbal, and vice versa. Expressing ideas, was I able to express what I mean or what I meant, but it came out really wrong? Was it effective? And then fine. So these are the reflective events that we want to know. So therefore, this stage, itong mga LC heads, interpreting, engaging, ito po dapat ang journey. Therefore, teachers, pag kayo po nagre-realize, gumagawa kayo ng lesson plan under interpreting, dapat ang strategies nyo dito napipiliin ay interpreting. Bakit hindi pwedeng dito sa stage na to, ang ginawa nyo, napag-simulate kayo. Nagpagawa kayo ng scripts bata, binigyan mo ng sitwasyon, you gave them a situation, and then they think of what could be the problem here, and then how you're going to improve the communication situation. Oh, that's not a good activity. That's not an appropriate strategy or simulation. Mas maganda pa siya under engaging, expressing, or reflecting. Interpreting siya eh. So, ibig sabihin, mas maganda sana na, okay, let's watch or let's read this script about the situation and then let's analyze what is the message being conveyed. Alright? Nakuha po natin. Maganda po yung effective communication. Ang pagkakalatag niya po, ang pagkakalatag ng ating curriculum is that it is one phase, one stage of being effective communicator. Interpreting, be reminded. So interpreting strategies. Engaging, dapat engaging activities. Pag-expressing ideas, expressing strategies. And reflecting strategies. You get that? Alright? Now, this is quarter two. Tingnan yung quarter two. It's the same. Alright? It's the same process. Nag-iiba lang kasi nga nag-iba ang context. So, pagdating sa second year, pagdating na sa second quarter, ang context na po ay social and cultural. May pinagkaiba ng konti ang social at cultural. Kapag sinabi ng social, ang communication task ng bata, miyembro, the child or the student is a member of a social group. Now, pag sinabi natin cultural context, you are talking about representing a certain culture, right? So when you talk about, say, when you ask students to talk about how you engage with, the different, personalities of the members of your, say, class, that would be social. But when you talk about, say, how you interact with different identities and different behaviors and different cultures of the members of your classmates in the classroom, that would now be almost similar pero cultural na ang iyong context. Nakukabon, there's a thin line between social and cultural kaya isinama siya sa isang kultura, sa isang quarter. Alright? So, paulit-ulit siya. Therefore, ang pagkakaturo natin within quarter 2 is that you start interpreting social and cultural situations. And then afterwards, let the students engage. Like, they could practice. Like, given the situations I provide you interpreting, how do we engage now? Now, you express your ideas at the same context. And then, if reflecting, what went wrong? Why was it successful? How do we improve the situation? There you go. And then, going through again quarter 3, it's the same, right? There you go. Paulit-ulit lang siya, nag-iiba lang ang kanyang konteksto. Quarter 4 is professional and workplace. There you go. Same ang journey ng bata sa paggawa ng lesson ay interpreting, engaging, and expressing, and reflecting. So, at this point, I guess, medyo mabilis po ang talagang marathon po ito. It's 2:28. But I could, walk you through just very, very quick how we concretize this. So, sabi po natin, unahin muna natin ang course standards. The course standards will be your basis for creating the culminating performance task. Let me zoom in on that. Say, ang napili ninyo dahil ang inyong pinili na design sa senior high school ay academic two-way po, dalawang design. Academic track with doorway to Tech Pro or Tech Pro track with doorway to academic or combination of all. So I thought of, kung kunwari lang po ang ating pong culminating task, then it could be interpreted given the unpacking of the course standards, could be the task is at the end of the school year, the students must be able to create an advocacy campaign entitled Communicate to Connect. And sabi nga natin, dapat lahat ng ating magagawan, the things that we want our students to be able to accomplish by the end of the quarter should accommodate all the context talked and discussed within the year. Yan. So you would see that ang pag-pilot po ng senior high school natin ng effective communication, you start first the end in mind first, what you want to achieve. Now, after identifying the culminating performance task, saan nakukuha ulit ang culminating performance task? Doon po sa pag-unpack ng course description. Nandoon na po ang standards. Na-mention na po kanina, nandoon po kanina, pinakita rin ni Miss Ayat. Now, you are now going to unpack the quarter standards that would conform to the identified culminating task. So, ibig sabihin, dapat yung apat na yan na identified mo should lead towards the realization holistically of the culminating task, which is advocacy campaign, di ba? On Connect to Communicate. So, quarter 1, personal, interpersonal, digital storytelling, kasi nga online advocacy campaign. Quarter 2, culture talk video presentation. Quarter 3, record academic conference simulation del academic. And then quarter 4, workplace communication video package. How to become effective in, say, when you apply for a job, or when you're already on the job, or in the job, or when you are, say, in different, industry workshops. So quarter 4. Now, say quarter 2, you're going to unpack. So that's why naka-blue siya. Kasi i-unpack mo naman ang na-identify mong quarter task. Your quarter performances will now be unpacked further into your learning episodes. Now, remember, your learning episodes are based on interpreting. Apat yun, di ba? Interpreting, engaging, expressing, and reflecting. So I could say that we can have 4 learning episodes in effective communication. So I will unpack the quarter performance task into 4 mini tasks. For quarter 2, it's all about culture talk video presentation. Now, for me to be able to create effective lessons and strategies, selection of effective strategies in the four lessons that we'll create in quarter two, I will unpack the quarter performance into Minitask 1 cultural observation log, Minitask 2 global culture clip review, and then Minitask 3 communication comparison table, and then Minitask 4 ethical communicators script. The script will now be the basis for them to be able to realize the culture talk video presentation. Clear? So once you have done this, we call this as preliminary planning. Part po siya ng inyong lesson exemplar. Now, this is now your lesson exemplar. So ito po ay you have the content standards, performance standards, and learning competencies for lesson learning episode 1. So interpreting po ang meaning natin. So ang ating learning episode 1, the first journey, effective communication, interpreting. Learning episode 2, engaging. Learning episode 3 is expressing. Learning episode 3 is reflecting. So titingnan natin kung ang mga activities and strategies na inisip ng teacher ay interpreting. Let's see. So sa isang lesson po, ay ito po ang elements ng piloting natin. We have activating prior knowledge, instituting new knowledge, and demonstrating knowledge and skills. Now let's zoom in on the content. So all you have to do is transpose the learning competency or competencies into ing form to make it content. Now, the learning competency will now be unpacked into the CC or CSCCE model of unpacking. Dapat ang learning objectives nyo or lesson objectives must have content, scale, construct, context, and evidence of learning. Now, remember, interpreting to. Tingnan natin kung interpreting po ang mga activities. Yung pinili na strategies ng teacher sa learning episode 1, which is interpreting, ay really requiring students to interpret. So, guess the culture game. Okay, interpreting. Establishing the purpose, sasabihin na ng teacher kung ano ang goal for that lesson. Let's proceed to instituting new knowledge. Presenting example. Cultural lens. Is this activity asking students to interpret? Yes, in different cultural lens. Good. Check siya. Pagdating po na sa discussing the concept, mini-lecture, i-discuss ni teacher ngayon, elements of effective communication in social cultural context, definition of attitudes, how they are embedded in communication, examples from Filipino international context, then discussing how our own perspective shape our interpretations and why is cultural sensitivity important. Diba? Pasok siya sa element ng interpretation or interpreting level or phase ng effective communication. Let's proceed to develop and master, decode the message. Is that interpreting strategy? Yes, the strategy conforms to the design effective communication first stage interpreting. Now, pagdating sa demonstrating knowledge, finding practical application, create a cultural lens vlog, pasok pa rin sa interpreting, making generalizations, pasok sa interpreting, evaluating learning, quiz or exit ticket, and additional activities. Now, based on the example I provided you, the way we are going to look at the selection of strategies and activities for the lesson would be conforming to the realization of the standards. And the standard says that for the students to become an effective communicator in every quarter is they go through the stages of interpreting, engaging, expressing, and reflecting. And therefore, if your lesson falls under, say, interpreting, all strategies, all activities you come up with would be conforming to the LC head interpreting or the process or the stage of interpreting. And then if you proceed to the next lesson, which is now engaging, all activities must be, or strategies or lesson activities must be conforming to engaging effectively, and so on and so forth, to expressing ideas, and then to reflecting. Now, so this is about my presentation. So takeaways, I guess we could answer the following questions in your own respective, like what have you realized about the curricular design, effective communication? Second question would be, have you learned about the importance of what have you learned about the importance of analyzing the content standards? And of course, finally, what have you learned about the importance of analyzing the performance standards? What we would like you to learn is that you are piloting the senior high school curriculum core subject effective communication, and that it must be implemented the right way, not your way, how you want the curriculum to be implemented. Think piloting, not implementing yet. It is not being widely implemented in the whole in the entire country. You are piloting, and you're going to give us feedback later on whether the design is effective, or was it was there challenges that you encountered as you implement the things that we have discussed and how you could implement the effective communication curriculum guide? With that, Mark, would like to apologize for some of the glitches that we experienced this afternoon, but that's about what I can talk about effective communication, how to concretize it in your own respective schools. I think that's about it, sir, Mark.
Thank you, Sir Ricky Aguirre, Brother Ricky Aguirre, for the comprehensive discussion of effective communication, guiding our teachers on how to navigate the curriculum up to the lesson delivery. Sir, I know na meron kang engagement tama po, sir?
Well, I just have to run to the next room for
Yes po.
another presentation.
Maraming salamat, sir. But can we have just one quick
course.
question, sir?
Of course.
One quick question lang po from our participants. How can we promote effective communication among learners by encouraging them to actively use Filipino and English, especially when they are more comfortable using their mother tongue in daily conversations and during discussion? This is from our participant, Ms. Maria Flor from Region 7.
All right. The effective communication promotes translanguaging. So, hindi po natin dinidiscount ang mga mother tongues. In fact, all the languages in the Philippines are language resource for us to become effective, provided, of course, the people you converse with, again, audience yan. Kung ang kausap mo ay taga, say, Cebu, you can, translanguage English and Cebuano, right? Effectively. But you need to be mindful of the context. Pag professional yan, I think straight English. Pero kung ang ibig kong sabihin, hindi kailangan pure English ang communication ng bata. Depende yan sa context. Kung personal yan, di ba? Kung personal yan, do you actually do straight English? Unless, of course, if your first language is in English. Your social media posts is a combination of your L1 and your L2, right? Now, halimbawa, social, pumunta ka sa palengke. Do you speak to the tindera in straight English? Do you say, Manong, how much is for the 1 kilo of rice? Could you, right? You do translate, Manong, how much po dito? Diba? So, being fluent and being, how do you call this? Fidelity to the language used, like pure English, straight English, is again, or pure Filipino, straight Filipino, or bilingualism or translanguaging is dependent on the context. So, pag nasa workplace tayo, kung sinabi ng workplace ay English lang, hindi dapat English ka. Therefore, ang pagtuturo natin sa mga bata is that it's not always just one language. We are moving towards a society where multilingual communication is now evident. In fact, a lot of foreigners are learning to learn words in Filipino like balot, pansit, and they're learning that. So we do not discount the idea that effective communication, language should not be a barrier for effective communication. Therefore, in terms of encouraging our students to use one language is dependent on the context you are discussing. Nakuha po natin. So hindi kailangang pure English kung ang pang-personal naman siya, 'di ba? Or pang-pamilya. Diba? As interpersonal context. So, teachers, be mindful of the context. Now, how you use the grammar is mindful as well in the context. Kaya meron tayong sinasabi, teaching language based on text types and based on contexts. That's my answer.
Thank you, Sir Ricky. And with that, hindi ka na po namin i-hold dahil alam ko po marami ka pang engagement for today. Maraming salamat, Sir Ricky, for spending time with us po. Maraming salamat po, Sir Ricky, kay Brother Ricky Aguirre po. At alam ko po nag-enjoy ang ating mga teachers. However, we will continue with our Q&A session. Miss Ayet Ferios, magandang hapon po muli.
Yes, hello, good afternoon.
Ay ma'am, i-raise ko lang po yung mga major concerns ng ating mga teachers here po, no? Most of the teachers po ay referring to the way na ituturo ang effective communication vis-a-vis tsaka sa mabisang komunikasyon. Halimbawa po, tama po ba ang pagkakaintindi namin? In one section, the teacher who will handle effective communication subject is the same teacher to handle the mabisang komunikasyon. Tuloy ko lang po sa ibang mga tanong na kaugnay. Just for clarification lang po, in effective communication requires 2 teachers, 1 for English and 1 for Filipino or as a team teaching. Then we have a question, are we allowed to offer focus on effective communication instead of dual subjects, effective communication or mabisang komunikasyon for a semester since we lack teachers po?
Okay, so Sir Alvin, yun lang ba? Okay. Allow me to answer all of those questions. First of all, mabisang komunikasyon and effective communication are 2 components under one umbrella subject. Okay? So that one umbrella subject, think MAPE. MAPE is just one subject with multiple components. So it's very much like that. Okay, the structure is very similar to that. So you have one umbrella subject, we have 2 components, we have English and Filipino. So the straight answer to the question whether you're going to choose one over the other, no, you are going to offer both. And both will be given 2 separate teachers. Isang guro para sa effective communication and another teacher for mabisang komunikasyon. And then, how do we assess the kids? Katulad nga po ng palagi kong sinasabi, ang ating pong model ay parang MAPE. So you take the final grade of the child in effective communication, the final grade for mabisang komunikasyon, and then you get the average. And that is the grade for that learning area or for that subject. Now, how do these teachers or how do these learning areas share the time allotment? A while ago, when we played the video on the new features of the curriculum, it was stated there that each core subject will be offered for 1 year with 80 hours for 1 year. So that means that in 1 week, this umbrella subject is going to share 4 hours a week. Ibig sabihin po nun, 2 oras sa effective communication at 2 oras sa mabisang komunikasyon. So you can do this. For example, you start with mabisang komunikasyon Monday and Tuesday, and then Thursday and Friday, effective communication. But we're not going to offer just English or effective communication in 1 semester, and then in another semester, ibang subjects naman. Hindi po. Palagi po silang magkasabay. And the reason behind that is, I am going to go back to my discussion on the language framework. We adopted a dual language framework. So we are aspiring towards the attainment of what we call simultaneous bilingualism. Sabay po natin dinidevelop ang English and Filipino skills ng mga bata. And so it is very important that both these subjects are offered at the same time. It's not going to be a hybrid subject. Hindi na po tama yung mga previous pronouncements na kung saan isang subject lang at 2 language ang target. It's not going to be like that. We have 2 separate components, each taught by 1 teacher, but both are under the same umbrella. Naghahati sila ng oras. So I hope that clarifies the nature of mabisang komunikasyon and effective communication.
Thank you, ma'am. Last question, ma'am. How is the effective communication subject distinct with the current purposive communication GE course, or are they the same?
Okay. So they are not 100% the same, but they are similar in that they both focus on the development of communicative competence. If you take a look at purposive communication, its focus is on the context of the academe and the workplace. So very much like quarter 4 of our effective communication subject, right? Where we focus on the development of our learners' communicative competence in these specific context. But you will find that effective communication is a little bit more practical because it starts with where the learners are. So we start with interpersonal communication. It goes to concentrate on broader contexts like social context and cultural context before finally getting to the academic and the workplace context. So in terms of the complexity of the learning competencies, we would say that purposive communication is a little bit higher in terms of cognitive demand, whereas effective communication is a bit more practical. But when we did the mapping of the curriculum guides for this proposed subject for senior high school, which is effective communication and purposive communication, you're going to find the same skills are present. Okay? Because when we talk about communication, the skills, katulad ng paulit-ulit ng sinasabi ni brother, the skills are very similar to one another. They recur. What changes is the context yung konteksto kung saan ginagamit itong mga kakayahan na ito. And so with purposive communication, because there's more focus on academic and professional communication, it's a little bit higher in terms of cognitive demand, whereas effective communication is a bit more practical. It's meeting where the learners currently are, and that is upon graduation or upon completion of grade 10. This is what they can do. It's a consolidation of what they can do. It's a consolidation of everything that we have exposed them to since key stage 1 until key stage 3. So ayun po, if they are not different, but they are not totally the same. If you map them as one curriculum guide, you will find that effective communication is actually supportive of the skills that are measured and assessed and developed in purposive communication. That's the relationship between the two.
With that po, thank you po, Ms. Ayet, for your Supervising Education Program Specialist of the Bureau of Curriculum Development. Thank you po for joining us today and sharing your expertise and addressing the queries of our participants po. And of course, thank you, Brother Roderick Aguirre, for sharing his knowledge for effective communication. At yun po ang ating pagtatapos ng ating session on effective communication. Ilang announcement